girl, Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business, but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Bebe Means Business Show. I'm so glad that you can join me again today. I'm your host, Bebe Clement, and as most of our faithful listeners know, I run a group of small companies, and I'm also the author of that book that you can see at the bottom of the screen, How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, which you can purchase, by the way, either from Amazon or from my website at www.bbclement.com. I'm really excited to have you here again today. It's the commitment to the show has just been humbling and awe-inspiring. I want to thank all of you who tune in week after week. Thank you so much for the great feedback. Thank you for letting me know that it's making a difference to your business and indeed your life. And our figures have gone up significantly. I want to thank everybody in Africa who is following us, everybody in America who is following us. It is amazing. And like I said, I'm truly humbled. So thank you very much for joining me again today. And I'm going to do everything possible to make sure that it is worth your while and that it is time well spent. Now, today we have an interesting program, but I just wanted to share a couple of things, see where we are as globally, business-wise, where we are globally, and what we need to do to keep going. So, as you know, the world has changed. You don't need me to tell you that. COVID-19 has changed everything, and the world of business is not exempt. The global business map has been and continues to be redrawn, and the skills and the mindset that we need as entrepreneurs now are completely different from those that we employed prior to COVID, pre-COVID. Completely different. So if you are still carrying the same kind of mindset and you have not updated your skill set since the beginning of COVID, then this program is definitely for you, because you cannot remain in that state. Everything has changed. So we're going to be looking today at what are the things that you need to survive and indeed thrive in this new dimension. So the title of the show today is The New Entrepreneur, Mindset and Skills. The New Entrepreneur, Mindset and Skills. What is it that you need to know? What is it that you need to change? What is it that you need to acquire to do well in business going forward? So for me, I think everything starts with the mindset. If you can get the mindset right, other things kind of fall into place. It's easier, but the mindset is the hardest thing to change, and that is actually the most important thing that needs to change, particularly when it comes to business. So we'll have a look at what the new mindset has to be for entrepreneurs. Okay, so the first thing is this, and I would encourage you to write this down and think about it. I think that the mindset we need to have now is every entrepreneur has to be able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. I'm going to say that again because it's important. Every entrepreneur now has to be able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. What do I mean by that? So first of all, you've got to have a lifelong, if you didn't have it before, I've always had this, but if you haven't had it before, you have to have a lifelong commitment to learning. Make sure that you don't get to a place in your business where you think, well, actually, I've arrived, because it's not true. There's nothing like arriving. You've got to commit to continuously learning. And when you have that kind of mindset, your mind is open to new ideas. Your mind is open to innovation. Your mind is not closed. Your mind is open to exploring, and that is really what we need in this dispensation, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So you must, first of all, have a commitment to continuous learning. The second thing is to be able to unlearn. Now, this is where a lot of people fall down, because they learn something and they get stuck in that element of learning. But in this era, you are going to have to, there are certain things that you're going to have to say, well, actually, what I learned about my business yesterday, or what I learned about my industry or my space hitherto, is no longer fit for purpose. There's another way to do this. There are other ways that I can explore, other things I can explore. The fact that I have learned it and I've always done it this way does not mean I should get stuck in it. So you need to be able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Relearn. Find new ways of doing what you have always done. Find new ways of doing it. So learn, unlearn, and relearn should be the mindset of the entrepreneur as we come out of COVID. Okay? The second thing I think that we should do, again, this is something that I do, but I would encourage you to do this, is refuse to just be one of the crowd. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, be the best damn entrepreneur that you can be. And be the best entrepreneur in your space. So in other words, be a leader. Be an innovator. I was reading a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and he said, do not follow where there is a path, or where the path may lead. Rather, go where there is no path and leave a trail. I love that. I absolutely love that. Don't be a part of the crowd. Be innovative. I refuse to be. I want to be able to leave a path so that others can follow, so that their journey will be easier, their journey will be faster, their journey will be more fulfilling. That's my aim, and that's my aim with this show, to ensure that you are able to do that as well. Whatever business endeavor you're involved in, that you leave a trail for others to follow, so that their journey is easier. So refuse to be a part of the status quo, and think disruption. Think disruption. Those who are disruptive, and I don't mean that in a negative sense, I mean those who buck the trend, who swim against the tide, those who say, well, the fact that everybody's going that direction doesn't mean I must follow them, because oftentimes the majority are wrong anyway. But be disruptive in your thinking, and indeed in the way you carry out business. I mean, this is what people like Uber did. Uber looked at the taxi hiring industry and thought, well, does it have to be this way? Is this the only way in which someone can hire a taxi? And they disrupted that industry, and look at what they've done with it. Just look at what they've done with it. So be open to disruption, and be open to being disruptive. Don't feel that you have to do it a certain way because everybody else is doing it that way. So if something else occurs to you, or you think, well, actually, I'm sure there's another way to do this, then don't be afraid to explore that. Be a leader. Okay. So right now actually is the best time to be innovative. Right now is the best time to be innovative, because nobody really knows what's what at the moment. Like I said, we're kind of feeling our way out of the abyss, so to speak. And so nobody really knows what's going on and what will work and what will not work. So this is actually a great time to be disruptive. This is a great time to be innovative, because right now there is no right or wrong method in business or entrepreneurship. There is none. So feel free to go crazy with your ideas. Okay, the next thing is, you and your team must learn to do more with less. You and your team must learn to do more with less. Less what? Less everything. Less everything. You must make your business a lean, mean machine. Honestly, a lean, mean machine. That's what you must be looking to do with your business. So let's have a look at some of the things that you need to be able to do less of. You must be able to do things with less time. With less time. So whatever it is that is disrupting your time or stealing your time, you have got to take a handle on that. So take an assessment of what you do with your time on the job, in the workplace, or in business. Take an assessment of what you do. How much time do you actually spend on the business? And don't be psyched out by being busy. Being busy is a red herring for an entrepreneur. I know people who are so busy, and a friend of mine says, yes, but most of them are busy being broke. And that is so true. They're so busy. Whenever you call them, what do you do? Oh, I can't talk. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Yes, but busy is not the same as productive. You need to have a look at what you're doing on a moment by moment basis, say, okay, am I just busy or am I productive? How much of this is yielding results? How much of my activity or my staff's activity is actually putting money in my pocket or increasing the bottom line of this company? That's what you need to be looking at. So less time, less resources, less resources. Your staff have got to learn to do more with less. That's the truth. They have to do more with less. Less money. Less money. So look at your budget. Sit down with your accountant. Look at where the money is going and see what you can hive off. See what you can hive off. So, for instance, perhaps you every month prior to COVID, you did an away day with your staff. Maybe you hired a hotel, you took them somewhere so you could do some team building or something like that. So now you need to think, actually, is it necessary for us to do this every month? Could we cut that down to once a quarter? That kind of thing. Just start looking, sit down with your accountant and see where exactly is the money going and what can we do without. You could also look at things like less staff. I know that's painful, but sometimes necessary. Less staff. One of the things that we did in one of our businesses when COVID hit was we changed our staffing requirements. And we looked at some of our full-time employees. Do we really need full-time employees to do this? And we discovered that actually we could have consultants do the same job. And it was cheaper for us because all the overhead of NI contributions, pension contributions, and everything, all this tax, employee tax, and all that went. And it's the same work being done, but it's being done by consultants, but that's reduced our overhead. So you need, again, to look at that. Can we actually do this with less staff? Do we need 3 people doing this particular work? Or can we amalgamate 2 job descriptions and cut the staff down to 2 rather than 3 doing that? Some people, some companies have staff that, in all honesty, they have no idea what those staff do. No idea. And COVID has shown that actually a lot of these staff, we don't need them. We really don't need them. And I hate to make people, I hate to make people redundant. I've been on the receiving end of that, so I don't like that. But at the end of the day, you are a business. And like I said, in these times, you need to be looking to how to make your business a lean, mean machine. Okay. Less space. Do you actually need a physical building and the overheads that go with that? Or could you run your business from home and then just hire perhaps meeting room space? If you wanted to meet clients, you go and hire meeting room space. Or you go and you become part of a hub. We have one, a business hub, whereby you just go in there and you have a laptop. They give you a laptop and they give you a phone so you can make calls and work on it, for a period, and then go your merry way. Do you really need to have an office building? These are the kind of questions that you need to start asking yourself in this current dispensation. Okay, all right, we're going to take a quick break here, and then when we come back, we'll delve more into some of the things that the new entrepreneur needs to have by way of mindset and skill set. Don't go away.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bebe Means Business Show. For those of you who are just joining, I'm your host, Bebe Clement, and today we're looking at the new entrepreneur, the mindset and skills required for the new entrepreneur as we climb out of the abyss of COVID and we begin to gather our bearings, get our bearings. What is it that you need by way of mindset and skill set in order to not just survive, but thrive in the new business dispensation? So those are the things that we've been looking at just before the break. Okay, so I was talking about some of the things that you need to be able to do less of or to be able to do less with. Some of the things that you also need to look at is your staff. Do they really need to be coming in? The fact that offices are open or we can now go back, do they actually need to physically be in the office? Or is it possible for them to work from home? Is it possible for you to have a hybrid kind of working situation? So perhaps they work from home Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe on Thursday you have all the staff in so you can have a staff meeting, that kind of thing. Or if you are a project-oriented business, perhaps then everybody comes in at the start of the project, and then once everybody knows what they're doing as regards the project, they just go off and do it, and they don't need to be coming in. They can just report back, via electronically, that kind of thing. So these are the kind of things that you need to be looking at. It was very interesting. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and we were talking about she was working from home. And we were chatting and I was saying, oh, are you at work at the moment? And she said, oh, well, everything has become so flexible now. So as long as I get my hours done, it doesn't really matter what time I'm working. And I thought that was really interesting. So she said, when I finish this conversation, I'm going to work till about 11. This was about 5 o'clock. I'm going to work till about 11. So as long as I do my normal 7.5 hours, it doesn't really matter what time of the day I'm doing it. I thought that was interesting. And like I said earlier on about being disruptive, now is the time to really unpick and, like I said, unlearn and relearn even the systems that we've put in place. Is it really necessary to have a 9-to-5 contract? Do we need that? Or could you just say, okay, your working hours are, you must do 40 hours a week. How you do those 40 hours is entirely up to you. So let's say, for instance, you have somebody who is an early riser, because people work differently. Some people work very well first thing in the morning. Some people do their best work in the middle of the night. So if you had an employee who said, you know what, Bebe, I'm an early riser, I'm usually up by 4. Would it be okay for me to start work at 4 and finish at 12 rather than have to wait 9 to 5? And to be honest, when I think about it, I can't see why not. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is that the work gets done. I could care less how it's done, as long as it gets done. So these are the kind of things that you need to think about. But I know for some traditionalists, for some people who are stuck in a particular system, the very thought of that is just too much for them. But really, is it that earth-shattering? When you think about it, is it really that earth-shattering? What is it that matters? What matters is that the work gets done. So all these kind of things are up for grabs now, up for discussion, up for re-examination. And like I said, remember to be able to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Now, another thing, those of you who have staff, that you need to be looking at is, what are the priorities for your workforce right now? What are the priorities for your workforce right now? One of my clients recently contacted me and said, Bebe, can you recommend a really good psychiatrist for my staff? I want to have someone that my staff can go to and speak to in confidence about their mental health. She said, because right now, the bottom line is not important. Right now, turnover is secondary. What is important for me now that COVID has shown is the mental well-being of my staff. And I so commended her for this. I was so happy that she would think that. Again, you need to sit down and look. I mean, that's not the case for every employer. But having said that, mental health has become a major issue and has been pushed to the forefront. I was speaking to a lady yesterday. I had a meeting with a lady yesterday, and very sadly, she told me that just before she had come for the meeting, she had been contacted by her managing director, who sadly informed her that one of her colleagues had committed suicide. So don't take it for granted when your staff tell you, when you ask your staff, how are you doing? And they just give you, oh, I'm fine. Don't take that for granted. Because if you take the time to delve a little deeper, you'll find that a lot of people are still struggling, still struggling. So yes, so you need to sit down with your staff and have honest and open conversations with them and find out from them what exactly are the priorities. It may well be that your vision, your original vision, has to go on the back burner for now. It may well be that you need to adjust your vision, re-examine the vision or rewrite the vision. It may well be that your vision is no longer even fit for purpose, or your vision was for a world that no longer exists, or the needs are such that They're so different that the vision of your company has to adapt to those changes. So for instance, we learned that during COVID, there were wine making companies who pivoted and started making hand sanitizer because the base ingredient, alcohol, is the same. So the vision of their company, of course, was to be winemakers and possibly to be the best winemakers in their industry. But that all went out the window because right now, wine was not the priority for the market. The priority was staying safe, and they had the basic ingredient for that, which was alcohol. And so they quickly pivoted and did that. So again, you may need to sit down with your workforce and find out. Oftentimes, we as entrepreneurs lose touch with the real world, and it's important that you have your workforce that can sit down in a safe environment. You must create an environment at work where everybody feels that their opinion is valued. Because if your staff don't think that their opinion is valued, they won't tell you the truth when it comes to when you're having meetings with them. They won't tell you the truth. They'll just nod, say yes, and move on because they're disenfranchised or they're not emotionally involved. But if you have created a work environment where everybody feels that what they say bears weight, it bears merit, it will be listened to, and it will be taken on board where necessary, then people tend to open up. When we have staff meetings in our office, everybody gets involved, from the cleaner to the administrator to the market manager, to everybody sits down and we talk. And I genuinely want to hear, because I can't be all things to all men and I don't understand everything. So perhaps social media, I might not understand anything to do with social media, but I have a manager that handles our social media. So he knows what is going on. He knows perhaps actually this media that we've been using is not the best for our company. Let's use a different platform. I wouldn't know that. But if you don't create the kind of environment where they feel they can talk about that and have their views valued, then they won't bother. They just let you, they'll just watch you walk into a ditch, and that's it. So it's important that you do that. Okay. So again, like I said, you need to prioritize. For those of you who are just joining us, you are tuned into the Bebe Means Business Show. I'm your host, Bebe Clement, and today we're looking at the new entrepreneur. The new entrepreneur, because the business marketplace has changed. There is a new entrepreneur in town, and they have a different mindset and a different set of skills. Okay, so another thing that the new entrepreneur has to do is to commit to reading. Business leaders are readers. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with going to seminars or workshops or things like that, things like mentoring and all that is part of your education. But I cannot overemphasize, there is something special about reading, and business leaders are readers. There's no getting around it. There is something special about reading. Read books that move you forward on your journey, on your business journey. Reading is more, it's lasting longing, and it's more effective. So I just want to very quickly recommend some books. I know I've mentioned these ones before, but I'm going to mention them again. My book, of course, that you can see at the bottom of the screen there, How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur. Again, I know there's going to be another search for this book because furlough in the UK, if you're watching from the UK, the furlough scheme is coming to an end this month. A lot of people, very sadly, are going to be made redundant. But hey, for some of you, it's going to be the best thing that's going to happen to you, because you will actually, for the first time, have the time to sit down and reprioritize and think, actually, what can I do for myself? What can I do for myself? All these skills that I've acquired over the years that I have used to build somebody else's business, why can't I use them to build mine? So if you want some help in doing that, I recommend my book, How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur. There are lots of tips and advice in there as to how to do it step by step so that you can avoid the pitfalls. Another book that I'm going to obviously recommend is Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Very popular book. I know many of you have read it. Might be a good time for you to go dust it off. If you haven't read it, I encourage you to do that. The Richest Man in Babylon, of course, is another book that you should read as an entrepreneur. Who Moved My Cheese is another good book to read if you have problems handling change. Who Moved My Cheese is a very good book to read. It will help you get past that. And as you are aware, well, in case you are not aware, I recently introduced to the show a new segment of the program called The Book Corner. The Book Corner. And every week I'll be taking a little bit from books that I recommend and sharing the nuggets therein with you, with the hope that you will go and buy the book yourself, and you will read it and be, to be encouraged and strengthened for your journey. And the book that we are currently reviewing is Bishop T.D. Jakes' book, Reposition Yourself. And later in the show, I'm going to be having a look at that. So, if you're, having mentioned that book, if you're over 40 or you're having a midlife crisis, or you're at a crossroads in your life and you don't know which way to go, I greatly recommend that book, Reposition Yourself. I also wanted to recommend the Christian Millionaires Book Club. Christian Millionaires Book Club, that's run by Blessing Theophilus Israel, who I had the pleasure of having on the show a few weeks ago. I'd encourage you to join that book club. I've spoken there a couple of times. They have some really dope speakers, and they're expanding the services that they're offering to their members. So I would encourage you to join that. They have a vision to raise up 12,000 Christian millionaires. So I'd encourage you to join that. You learn so much, and you'll be with people of like minds, and you can rub minds with them. Okay. Now, the new entrepreneur has to be a thinker. Now, this is what I would encourage you to do. I would encourage you to get by yourself and spend time alone, where you can just let your thoughts run riot, run rampant. Good thoughts, crazy thoughts, silly thoughts, wild thoughts, stupid thoughts. Just let them all out. It's really strange that a lot of the thoughts that we think are stupid and are not going anywhere, those are the ones that actually turn into great businesses. So just let them all out, no matter how crazy or far-fetched or how far-reaching they are, or how seemingly unattainable they may seem to you. Just let them all out and begin to write them down, capture them somewhere. So I would encourage you to take, even if it's 30 minutes out of your workday every day, just lock yourself in your office, or go for a walk, or sit in the park, whatever it is that you can do, and begin to write down those thoughts. I'd also advise that you get a notebook and keep that notebook by the side of your bed, because I often find that good ideas come to me first thing in the morning and I wake up. So I would get that if I was you. A lot of people get good ideas during the night, and then by the morning they've gone. So during the night, get that book ready so that you can quickly write down those ideas. Okay. I'd also encourage you to carry it around with you during the day. And I don't know whatever your spiritual inclinations are, but I'm a Christian, and I often ask the Lord, as I go about my day, can you open my eyes to opportunities? And as He does that, I'm writing them down. You'll be amazed at some of the things that you will see that you never thought would be a means of business. It would be a means of making money. You'd be very, very surprised. You see, people are often looking for some out of this world kind of idea. You don't need that to make money. You don't need that. Sometimes it's just a new slant on an old concept that can revolutionize your business and your finances. So take a book around, particularly if you're on public transport, as you sit on the bus or you sit on the train, rather than wasting your time scrolling through WhatsApp. Just start looking around, and remember that entrepreneurs are problem solvers. That's what we do. That's what your business is doing. Every successful business is solving a problem or meeting a need. Solving a problem or meeting a need. So as you go about your daily business, your daily walk, just look, what is the problems in my area? What are the problems in my area? You'd be amazed at what you will find that you can turn into a business. Okay, now, thinking is great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thinking is great, but it's not enough. You have to be a planner. The new entrepreneur has to know how to plan. You must articulate a plan to carry out the thoughts that you have and put them into action. So ask yourself realistic questions. Once you have the plan, when am I going to carry this out? And put a time frame to it. Don't leave it open-ended. When am I going to carry this out? What expertise do I need to bring this to fruition? Because, like I said, you can't be all things to all men. So if, for instance, I found something perhaps on social media, I thought, actually, there's a particular group on social media that I could meet, a particular demographic that I could meet, but I don't know how to access them. I might need to go find someone who could access them. So what kind of expertise do I need? What do I need to learn in order to carry out my plan? What do I need to make it fly? How much would it cost me? So you must have a budget and be realistic about your budget. So do I have enough money in the business at the moment to carry out this plan? Or should I start looking for investors? If I need to start looking for investors, where should I start looking? What kind of person would like to invest in this kind of business? What would they require of me if I was going to pitch this to them? These are all the kind of questions that you need to be asking yourself. Do I have the capacity, staff-wise, workforce-wise, do I have the capacity to carry out the plan that I'm articulating? All these kind of questions you need to ask yourself. Okay. Then we're talking about habits. Let's talk about habits. The new entrepreneur is going to have to be hardworking. Ladies and gentlemen, playtime is over. Playtime is over. The future belongs to those who can move and move quickly. The future does not belong to those who sit on social media all day long. No way. That day is gone. Doesn't belong to those who want to watch episode of Netflix. That day is gone. The future, when it comes to business, belongs to those who know what's what and are good to go at a moment's notice. We should learn from the ant. I was reading about the ants. There's something in Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, if you're a Christian, there's something in the book of Proverbs that talks about we should learn from the ants. And so I went to learn from the ant. And one of the things that I discovered about the ant is that the ant sleeps upside down. In other words, he's ready to go at a moment's notice. He doesn't get too comfortable, even in sleep. So he's good to go. He has just the right level of discomfort that enables him to go at a moment's notice. And you should have that as well. You should have that as well. All right. So you must be hardworking. And you must get rid of things like procrastination. Procrastination, as defined by me, is leaving until next week what you should have done last year. That's procrastination. So, and it's the junior brother of laziness, really. So do what needs to be done. Oftentimes what I will do is when I have a list of things that I need to do, I will start with the one that I don't want to do the most, because clearly that's the one that needs to be done. So I start with that and then work my way down. So procrastination, laziness, and destroy all weapons of mass distraction, such as the phone. If you're someone who doesn't have the discipline, you're sitting there with your phone and you're working, and every few seconds you keep doing that, then switch it off. If necessary, put it in a different room, because we have different levels of concentration and different levels of discipline in this area. But put it in a different room, or only switch it on at certain times of the day. Maybe 12 o'clock, which is your lunchtime. Then you catch up on messages and things like that. But you need to destroy all weapons of mass distraction. Okay. Just for those of you who have asked how they can connect with me outside of this show, just to let you know, I'm on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Bebe Clement, @Bebe, that's Bebe Clement. And if you're into Instagram, it's Bebe_Clement, Bebe_Clement. You can also connect with me on my website. Website is www.bbclement.com. And of course, you can drop me an email if you would like to at bb@bbclement.com. So there's lots of ways in which you can connect with me. Please do. I'm always looking forward to connecting with people and to growing the movement, so to speak, growing the movement. Okay. Now, like I said earlier, the future belongs to those who have a handle on their time and they make it work. Because, ladies and gentlemen, as I always say on this show, time is your greatest resource, and you can't afford to mess around. Then you need to be a visionary. You need to be a visionary. Yes, it's great to look at what people are doing now, what people are into now, but you need to be able to look down the line, 5-10 years down the line. What are people going to need? And another reason why you need to revisit your vision and indeed your work practices is because some of us are in industries or in a business space that actually the world is not going to need in 5 years' time. because things are moving so quickly. So quickly. The world is changing literally by the minute. You have to be moving all the time just to even stand still. So you need to have a look. This business that I'm in 5 years' time, the way things are going, are people going to need it? And if the answer is no, then you need to quickly start looking as to either getting out of that business altogether or repackaging your business to make it future friendly. All right? So these are the things that you need to do. The new entrepreneur has to be self-motivated. If you are waiting for others to prep you up or pop you up or whatever, then you're going to be waiting a long time. I hate to be the one to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, but the cavalry is not coming. The politicians are not interested in you. That's the truth. It's sad to have to say that to you. They're not interested in you. They're sorting themselves out. In the UK, we can see how they're giving each other contracts with things that relate to COVID. They're not interested in you. If you're waiting for the economy to be good, you'll be waiting a long time. You need to be the master of your own destiny and be self-motivated. If you're waiting for friends and family to encourage you, you might be waiting for a long time. Take control over your own destiny. Encourage yourself. Whenever a door that you have knocked on has been slammed in your face, dust yourself off, get over your pride and go to the next door and knock again. Knock again. For everybody that says no, you're getting closer to a yes. So don't be deterred and don't be discouraged. You're getting closer to a yes. Just to say, as I always do, that this is a live show. So if you have any questions for me, please feel free to contact us. You can call us. Our Twitter handle is @Starr Radio UK, @Starr Radio UK, or you can text or WhatsApp us on 07539 661 744, 07539 661 744, or email us at info@Starr Radio UK, or just if you're joining us on Facebook, just put your questions or your suggestions or your comments in the chat. All right, I want to do a quick shout out to a couple of people who have joined us. I just want to give a shout out to Ozo Francis Omega Namani. I hope I got that right, Ozo. And you are watching from Amagunze in Enugu. Ozo, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you watching. I also want to give a shout out to Tolu Downsi, who is watching live from Igbora, Oyo State in Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you to my people. I really appreciate you. Kedu, Eshego, thank you so much. I'm grateful for all the support. Thank you for taking the time. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're learning, because that's what this show exists for, to ensure that you learn and you are able to build your business in such a way that it is successful and you become financially free. Okay, the last thing I'm going to say as regards the new entrepreneur's mindset and skill set is the ability to deal with failure. Now, in this time, there is a general feeling of being downcast, and I'm talking globally. You can almost feel it in the air. The whole issue of, like I said, mental health and being downcast, and not being willing to try, not wanting to try, not being motivated, and all that. And people are dealing with failure. But let me say to you that you must be ready for failure in this dispensation. Failure is not fatal, and it is not final. I'll say that again. Failure in business is not fatal, and it is not final. So the fact that you try something and it doesn't work doesn't mean that you are a failure. It just means that you tried it and it didn't work. So get up, learn the lessons, and try again. But don't let that stop you. Don't let failure stop you. You can do all you know how to do. You can attend all the workshops you can attend. You can be mentored and do everything and still fail. But the one way to guarantee that it never happens for you is for you to give up. So you mustn't do that. Your motto should be, and I encourage you to adopt this motto, is I'm going to keep doing until what? Until I've built the kind of business I want to build, until, if your goal is to be a millionaire, until I become a millionaire, until this business is successful, until I leave something that is a legacy for the next generation, until I leave something that my children can inherit so that they don't have to struggle like I struggled. I'm going to keep doing until. All right? Until your business produces the kind of results that you are seeking, then keep doing. Don't let failure stop you. Don't let failure stop you. Okay. All right. Do we have time for another quick break before we go into the book corner? I think we'll do that. We'll have one more quick break, and then I'll get ready for the book corner. And like I said, we're going to be reviewing Reposition Yourself by Bishop T.D. Jakes. See you in a minute.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bebe Means Business Show. And today we were discussing the new entrepreneur and the kind of mindset and skill set that the new entrepreneur post-COVID needs to have to succeed. I hope you enjoyed that. And right now, I want to welcome you to a recently added segment to the show, the Book Corner. And I'm going to be reviewing some things that I've read in T.D. Jakes' book, Reposition Yourself. You can have a look at my copy. You can see it's really worn and old, and that's because I've read it over and over again, and every time I read it, I get something new. So I want to share some of the nuggets that I have gotten from this show with you. One of the things that he said is stagnation is the danger of traditional thinking. Stagnation is the danger of traditional thinking. And I touched on that earlier in the show. Like we said, this is a great time of innovation. This is the way we have always done things is not going to work in this new dispensation. Now is the time to be open to new ways of thinking and exploring and innovative ideas. And I've encouraged you to let those thoughts come, even those silly thoughts in relation to your business. Just let them come. You'll be surprised that a seemingly silly thought can revolutionize your business world, can revolutionize your business, can take it to the next level. So don't get stuck in the concept of, well, this is the way we've always done it and it's always served us well, so I don't see why we should change it. Everything is up for grabs right now. Okay. Number 2 that he speaks about, he says, develop the mindset of champions. I love that. Develop the mindset of champions. How do champions think? They have tenacity. They have persistence. And like I said just before the break, they have the mentality of, I will keep doing until. And he says in his book that winners are fighters who just don't quit. I love that. Winners are fighters who just don't quit. Now, you may fight and lose, but one way to guarantee that you will lose is to stop fighting. To pack it in and to go do something else is definitely a way to lose. But you must have the mindset of a champion. I'm going to succeed at this. Richard Branson, Dan Gote, whoever, they don't have 2 heads. They're born of a woman just like me. And I'm going to succeed. There's no reason why I can't. There are people who have had worse beginnings than I have, who have greater odds stacked against them than I have. So there's no reason why I can't be successful if they have been. So these are the kind of things that you need to talk to yourself about. You must develop that self-talk. Talk to yourself. Silence the words in your head or the voice in your head that tells you you can't do it. You that you're not educated. What do you know about business? Who's even going to listen to you? Where are you going to find the money? All those kind of things that go around in your head. You got to tell that voice to shut up. Shut up. You are going to keep doing until you are a success. You are a champion, and you are not going to stop. All right? There's a thing in the Bible. There's a place in the Bible where the Bible talks about David. It says David encouraged himself in the Lord, and that's what you're going to have to do. Encourage yourself. When your family doesn't believe in you, when your spouse has laughed at you, when you can't get the money, encourage yourself. I'm going to do it. I ain't going out like this. I am not going out like this. I'm going to be a success. Okay? Another thing that he says is the combination of a focused mind and an impassioned heart is vital for success. The combination of a focused mind and an impassioned heart is vital for success. Now let's talk about the focus bit first of all. Now, one of the reasons why a lot of people don't succeed in business is because they're here, there, and everywhere. Every business that comes their way, they jump on the bandwagon. You're not going to get very far with that. Yes, you can explore, but once you have found out what you want to do, hone in on it and stick with it. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have different business interests. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that as a lifestyle, you can't afford to be jumping on every bandwagon that comes along. So you were doing, I don't know, let's say you were doing Mary Kay today, and then somebody comes along and says, oh, now everybody's doing something else. And you leave your Mary Kay and you jump on that. You are dissipating your effort, dissipating your ability. And you can't afford to do that. So find something, focus on what you want to do, and stick with it and do it until what? Until you get the results that you plan to get when you started out. Now, he said the combination of a focused mind and an impassioned heart is vital for success. Let's talk about passion. Now, for those of you who have listened to my show before, passion is, as far as I'm concerned, is a very, very vital ingredient for business success. Very vital. But it's not enough to be passionate. The fact that you are passionate about something is not enough for you to succeed at it. You must have self-discipline. You must know how that thing works. You must be able, like we said earlier today, be able to plan, to think, to carry it out, get the right people involved, educate yourself about whatever it is that you want to do. Passion alone is not enough. It's like passion is great, okay, because it's fuel. Passion is great, but passion without focus is like, it's like a raging bushfire. It might be exciting and enthralling to watch, but it serves no purpose. It just burns and burns, and it serves no purpose. And actually, it can become destructive. But if you take a lesser fire, like a house fire, it might not shine as bright, it might not look as exciting as a bushfire, but it serves a useful purpose. Okay? And it's better in the long run. It's better in the long run. So don't always be jumping on a bandwagon that sounds exciting and enthralling, or I only put, those ones they put on social media, I only invested £100 and within five days they put £10,000 in my account. Listen, forget all that. Please forget all that. You just stick to what you know, hone in, focus, be impassioned about it. But just like Bishop T.D. Jakes said, the combination of a focused mind and an impassioned heart is vital for success. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just before I say goodbye, I want to once again give a shout out to Ozo Namani, who is watching from Enugu, and Tolu Downsy Intellectual, who is also watching from Oyo State in Nigeria. I want to thank you so much for joining us, and everybody else from around the world who is watching. I'm very grateful for your time. Time is your greatest resource, so if you choose to spend it with the BB Means Business Show, I'm grateful for it. Thank you so much. I'm going to be here again this time next week, ready to serve you with some more advice, information, and nuggets that will help you in your business to do well and to become financially free. Like I always say, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur, and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.